So my name is Conny. I'm a graduate student from KCISEC in 2022, and I'm right now studying in New York University, majoring in data science and math, and minor in business studies. So let's go. Okay. So today, I'm gonna teach you a magic, a so-called magic, but in fact, everyone is capable to make it. That is, use the power of your mind, your thought, your belief, and how you interpret the world to change the physical substances, cases, and events. Like what Matilda did in the movie. It seems ridiculous, right? Someone will say that Matilda is fake, the story is fake, and how can we produce the same magic? So in psychology, note that psychology is a science but not theology. The placebo effect, as well as the Pygmalion effect, all proves that what our mind are thinking can change our physical condition and the result of different events. So, since the placebo effect is more popular among our AP Psych students, I'll explain it at first. Basically, the placebo effect supports that I have two groups of patients, and I gave the first group of patients the candy as the fake pills named placebo, and I gave the second group of patients the real medicine that is technically can help them to get relief from the pain. And I told both groups of patients that they're taking the effective medicine, and it returns that both groups of patients were getting better, or at least reported that they're feeling better at the end of the experience. So this is the placebo effect. With merely thinking that you're taking something helpful, you're able to change your physical situation and actually get it better. Meanwhile, the Pygmalion effect supports that it's more focusing on the educational field. For example, when I was in the kindergarten, my father always praised me about my arts talents every time I finish a piece of drawing. By the way, he's actually collecting that, and they're all stored up in my home right now. When he was introducing his daughter, he always says that, my daughter was very good at drawing, and this really made me feel very good and confident. Since I wanted to be prized by him, I drew more and more. With that being said, I also practiced more and more. And I've become very willing to express my thoughts. And I remember that it's in 7th grade. Once, I just sent one of my drawings to the homeroom teacher because I saw there's a poster on the back of the door that was collecting students' drawing. And then I just got a chance of getting to a creative drawing competition held in Beijing. And eventually, I got a silver prize in that competition. So this is basically what this psychological effect means. That's others' cultivation of your belief. Like right now, I told all of you that you're the best audiences I have ever. And then some of you might think that, aha, I was recognized by this woman, and I'm a good listener. So since your mind's already changed, and this will prompt you to do some practical things that follows your belief. For instance, next time you might be show up more actively in someone's speech or concert and act more responsive as a fantastic listener. The fact of mind over matter was also reflected when I was struggling to get past my TOEFL test. The average international students, including me, we should always get through the test over and over again until we get a good grade that is sufficient to prove our English ability when applying to colleges. And that's a nightmare though, including me, because it's very difficult to get full credit in both reading, listening, speaking, and writing every single time. And it's actually being affected by many variables, such as the temperature in the room, the noise, our mind, our confidence, and how empty our stomach are. So basically, All these things can affect the final grade. I also spent a lot of time to prepare my last two TOEFL tests when I was in 12th grade, and I actually got a bullet share on the first. I actually got a grade that is worse than the one I took 1 year before, and this really made me very disappointed. And I actually didn't do anything more in the following week because I thought that it's impossible to reach the score of 110 in the next weekend's test. But I need to fly to the Chongqing to take the test because I really want to grasp any chance that I got. So I got there, and at night before the exam date, a thought just randomly appeared in my head. That is, many of my friends, they achieved the score of O or at 110 as the goal. And this time, it must be my turn. It must be me, who also paid a lot of effort on pursuing this goal to reach the goal. So holding that belief, I took the test. And this time, I feel it's very different as before. It's like there's an inner strength that pushes me forward. And I hold this belief continuously and repeated my wish to the moon every night. I know it seems a little bit silly, but that's my way to express my wish and the power of my thoughts. So the result was, I actually got a score that's above my expectation. I got 112, so that's very surprised. Therefore, my example can be interpreted as, I used the power of my mind and hope to overcome the obstacles that bother me over and over, and finally made an accomplishment that can be one milestone on my way of learning. And from this experience, I learned that the power of mind over matter can actually change the physical condition, like the body strength, and the emotional condition, like more confidence, more self-esteem, and since our mind strengthens ourselves, the things will get better. It will be more easier for us to find a favorable way to address different tasks and got success. So another interesting example happened on myself related to the power of mind over matter is after I arrived in New York. I haven't got COVID before I studied in a new college in a new country. But unfortunately, on the first day of my school, which is the orientation day, I felt very bad. I almost thrown up at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty. And on the second day of school, I was diagnosed with COVID. I was so weak at that time that I can't help myself to go to the pharmacy after class, get a Tylenol, and walk back to the dorm to get some rest. But I made a very risky decision, which is make a lunch by myself. Because at that time, I just arrived in a new place, and I was not so used to food here. I chose to make the tomato fried egg, which is a very classic Chinese cuisine. And when I'm trying to cut tomato in a bowl that I used to hold it, it just rolled over, and I just accidentally cut through my left palm, almost 10 centimeters, and the blood just sprayed over. I was so afraid at that time, and I can't find anyone to help me. So eventually, the dorm guardian helped me to call the ambulance, and this is an ambulance in USA, so the price is really high. And I just spent a whole afternoon in the emergency center in a hospital and get pain surgery, get some shots to prevent infest, and in the following couple of months, I spent this to take care of my wound and be my best to prevent a scar on my wound. But it doesn't leave. And at the end, 5 months later, I received the medical bill. So here's the question. Can anyone tell me how much bill I got? Just please guess it. In dollars, $1,000. So I would say that that's too low. I actually got $4,000 in the medical bill, and it's written that my student insurance didn't cover 1 cent. So that's once there's 0 cents, vs the 4,000 scholars. The contract between them just like almost cut me in half. And I've even hidden this message to my parents in the very first few days because I'm criticizing myself. It already costs a lot to study in New York, and I even made an additional bill. Also at that time, I had the pressure to transfer my major to my current one, and it's also during the midterm week. I try to communicate my situation to people around me, like my classmates, my dorm mates, and professors. But I know that in the end, it should always be me, myself, to address all these things all at once. So what I do is I contact every single organization that I can, like the NYC Hospital, the Student Health Care Center, and the insurance company. So at first, the Student Healthcare Office told me that I need to send the form of accident on my insurance website, but it didn't tell me where can I submit it in. But never mind, I really need to do something at that time, so I just download a form from the internet and put in the description and the bloody photos, and I just submit it in a random spot. And it told me that I need to wait patiently for the response. So what I do is I tried my best to forget these terrible and heartbreaking things in 2 weeks. But 2 weeks later, on the day before the deadline of payment, the amount of debt still didn't change. Also, even worse is that I received a warning letter from the third-party debt collection company, and it made me more despaired because I'm just a first-year international student, paid thousands of dollars from the student insurance, but can't get 1 cent dispense. And I even need to face the pressure of the debt collection company. With that despair, I just called the insurance company again. And guess what happens? The insurance company just told me that they already sent $3,500 to the hospital, and boom, that thing just got over. So at the end of that semester, I paid all of my bill at once as a member of student insurance. So all things happen on me. Let me experience and deeply feel what's the power of life matters and how this mysterious magic helped me to overcome different obstacles smoothly. And right now, I'm at the end of my freshman year, and I'm back to my high school, standing on this old stage. I feel that I've traveled a big cycle to the other end of the ocean, and now I've returned to my origin. So standing here, but not retracing all the things that I've experienced, my conclusion is that the power of mind over matter is not something heresy, and it's not something like the useless hope without reasons. But it is that even we know that there are many dead rules in the world, and we know that there are many things we cannot change. But as long as we want to do something, and it doesn't hurt anyone, we should give our all to it and maintain 100% confidence that it can be achieved. And in the end, it should always be succeed. Thank you.